Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's time for another edition of Monster Comics Reviews, where I talk about superhero comics for the last couple weeks in this case. This would be comics for the week of the 21st of May, 2 weeks from when I'm recording this. We'll jump right into it. Well, first, we have Batman Eternal. This is issue number 7, our weekly Batman comic. I've been enjoying this as a whole. This issue, scripted by Tim Seeley, I believe. Yet another different artist on it that I'm not really familiar with. It was an okay issue. Basically, Falcone goes full on, blows up the iceberg, Penguin's casino. And meanwhile, Batman is dealing with Dolomites and Pig. He basically convinces Pig by the end of the issue that Falcone's been playing him for a chump, and been manipulating him. And of course, Pig doesn't really appreciate that. We also get more of the getting a better sense of exactly how poorly Gotham Police Department is going to be as far as dealing with most of the crimes that are going on in Gotham. If it has anything that's remotely gang related, they're not touching it. Their focus is going to be to catch Batman and other crimes that are going on that are unrelated to the whole gang war and Falcone and all that. You know, to the point where they're basically useless. Somewhat interesting issue. I said not bad. We're getting introduced to more and more moving pieces, I think, and the greater plot that's involved. All the different bits and pieces and stuff. It's fairly interesting. We get reintroduced to some of old characters that I believe Scott Snyder created in Detective Comics before the reboot of the DC universe, in here with Tiger Shark and some of those people. Anyway, entertaining. Batman and in this case it's Batman and Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein. The most unfortunate thing about this issue is it's got a guest artist on it, and you can tell what the art. So the art wasn't quite as strong as what Gleason's art normally is in the book. I still love the dialogue in here. Frankenstein is still pretty pissed off at Batman, because the last time they met, Batman had basically vivisected Frankenstein and trying to figure out how he worked to figure out how to resurrect Damien. And of course now he's enlisting Frankenstein's help because Frankenstein's there in a rush to try and stop Ra's al Ghul from resurrecting Damien. He doesn't want that to happen anymore. Batman doesn't. And of course Frankenstein's going to go along because that's an abomination kind of a thing, and he is all for stopping that sort of thing. Still really enjoying the story. Looking forward to what's next. We pretty much know that some form of Damien is going to be resurrected. It's happening in this issue. There's another miniseries coming out pretty soon. Robin, the Omega, and the Alpha, or something like that is what it's called. I don't know. I will be getting it probably. Yeah, it's just kind of fun seeing Batman teaming up with these people. It's kind of a cool version of the old Batman Brave and the Bold kind of thing, except there's a steady plot line through this whole thing as he is, chasing down Rasha. Cool. So it'll be cool. I haven't looked ahead in the advanced solicitations to really remember what is next. But I think that who he's teaming up with, if he's teaming up with somebody else. But yeah, great comic. Still really like it. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite Batman books. Oh, and then there's Batwoman, which has kind of been just an absolute train wreck since the original creative team from the New 52 launch is off the book. Still not very good. The artwork's even really weak in this. The paneling is not very strong. There's not a whole lot positive to say about this book, unfortunately. I kind of keep hanging around, hoping that something magic's going to happen. You know, that when we get to the next plot line, it'll be something better than what it is. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm going to hang on. This is definitely one of those books that really I should be dropping, just because it's really not giving me anything anywhere other than it being, you know, Batwoman. And quite frankly, I'd be better off going back and looking at the back issues than I am looking forward at this point with that book. So, unfortunate. Elektra, issue number 2. I picked up Elektra issue number 1 while I was in Las Vegas. It was a staff recommendation from one of the stores that I was at. So I picked it up. It was somewhat interesting as far as story goes. The art in it was really awesome. This is issue 2. I actually picked this up from the chain store. No, I didn't. I was actually in another city that has a comic book store. At that comic book store, I picked it up at that comic book store. Just to see, because I'm kind of curious to see what the next issue was going to be like. Story is okay. It's not like you know, mind-shattering kind of a thing. It's relatively straightforward. Elektra is you know, no longer working as a government agent, basically. She's trying to strike out on her own, but she needs money to kind of do her own thing. So she's taken on this incredibly impossible contract of trying to track this guy down and capture him alive. And that's how she's going to make her big money, to be able to then hide away someplace and not have to deal with people anymore, because that's really what she seems to be what she wants to do. In this issue, we find out that the person that this contract she's working for it's a fake. There is no money. But she seems like she's going to go through with the job anyway. The art in it, though, is pretty awesome. It's kind of a painted sort of a thing. Trying to find some good pages here that aren't full of ads. But yeah, I really like the art. I may pick up a couple. It's not really on my poll. I've just been kind of picking it up as we go. I may pick up a few more issues, because I really do like the art. The story is written by Blackman, who is the guy who was writing, helping J.H. Williams write Batwoman. So if you like the way that was written, you may like this too. Like I said, it's not badly written. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. It's just the story in itself isn't like something really earth-shattering, but it's enjoyable. And like I said, eye candy-wise, as far as art goes, it's pretty nice. So I'll probably pick up a few more of that. Oh my gosh! Forever Evil number 7. We finally get an answer. We get closure. This ties up all these wonderful 6 issues into this nice, neat thing. Gives us a clean-cut ending that we can read this and go, oh, it's over and it was great. And that's not what it did. Not at all. Ties up some things very quickly, throws together some stuff, kind of gives us an answer as to what the hell happens at the end of this thing as far as some of this goes, but it immediately rolls into what feels like is going to be the next event, as we have our new bad guy at the end of this thing. The characters all think they knew who it is, but we get a reveal at the end, that it's not who they thought it was. Pretty disappointing. I don't know much else to say about it. This as a whole was pretty disappointing. Maybe I'll go back and read it. I doubt it, though. This has pretty much put me off of event books altogether again. I've never liked event books, but occasionally I buy into them to see what the hype is, see what the excitement is, or whatever. Maybe somebody's going to do something special. No, most of this run of books, in my opinion, was a complete waste of time and paper and money. This all could have been said in 4 issues as far as what was here. It sets up, the only thing it does is it sets up an interesting situation for the Justice League, which is the next book I'll talk about. Justice League, Forever Evil tie-in, issue number 30, which was delayed, I believe, because everything else is on 31. except for this book. And the interesting thing that it sets up is it sets up the potential for Lex Luthor to be in the Justice League. He comes out of the whole thing as being a hero, which we all knew was going to happen. I'm pretty sure, go back and find some conversations with me and Mr. CDC AMP, who I think now on YouTube is Comics. I think we had this conversation back then that, you know, Lex Luthor was going to come out being this kind of hero because it's always kind of what he wanted to be. This stuff is just, to me, is rehashing old plot lines between this and the Crime Syndicate. This is all stuff we've seen like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 5 at the most years ago. This is all the same stories we've read. It's not even, they're hitting the exact same beats. The only thing about this that's potentially interesting is we're going to potentially have Lex Luthor as being part of the Justice League, because society now, the world sees Lex Luthor as being this great hero, and they're a bit suspicious of the rest of the Justice League, because how did this all happen around the Justice League? So that's the only thing that potentially is interesting, is that. But the way Jeff Johns has been telling stories, I'm not really that, I'm interested, but I am very skeptical that I'm going to get a book that I'm actually remotely interested in, because I really haven't been that happy with the Justice League since the relaunch. And here we are 30 issues in. And I'm blindly keep buying the thing. So I'm suspicious. I'm still on Justice League, and I'm still going to be getting it because they're introducing Doom Patrol in some sense. Bit worried about how they're introducing Doom Patrol. But I'm a huge Doom Patrol fan, so I'll keep getting it as long as the Doom Patrol is being flirted with in it, until hopefully Doom Patrol gets their own book, and then I'll be done with this, unless Jeff Johns suddenly is writing something special, as opposed to this kind of homogenized thing that's been going on mostly, and not really giving us anything really out of the book. So, and another Forever Evil, the last Forever Evil crap I will be talking about, hopefully. Forever Evil, Justice League of America, issue number 14. Finally done. We kind of a wrap of a what the heck happened kind of a thing in here. Sets up the flirting of the whole how the Justice League United Canada book comes about, kind of gets squared away in this. 14 issues, and I have to say this book was solely created just so they could run the whole Trinity War and Forever Evil event. That's all this was. Otherwise, it was nothing. I mean, I guess you can look at this as this book now transitions into the Justice League United, so it's really the same book, and to some degree that's the case. And because that is the case, I'm not going to be getting it. I'm dropping Justice League United. But really, it feels like this whole thing was a setup. Most of these characters were complete waste. You know, Katana, Catwoman, Hawkman weren't used at all in really in these issues. They were complete throwaway characters. You know, Simon Baz the same way. I mean, the book was Stargirl and Martian Manhunter, and that was it for most of the book. Yeah, pretty disappointing. Pretty disappointing. Magneto, issue number 4. Jumped on this book after a lot of people were talking about it. You know, tons of people within the community, you know, here on YouTube and on Twitter, all were saying how great this was. So I was a bit suspicious. I always loved the character Magneto. I didn't like him when he kind of became a hero kind of a character, and how he's been used in recent years just hasn't really interested me. I love this version of the character where he's more grassroots, hands-on, going back to being this very dark hero. I am saving my people at any cost, and if that means I kill a few of you people along the way, fine, whatever. And anybody who is a bad actor against the mutants, he's just going to kill. There's not a question about it. You know, they're dead. But last issue is a brutal issue where, to extract this information out of this woman, he, you know, basically stabbed a paperclip into her and then ran it around her body, torturing her to get the information he needed, and then ultimately killing her with a paperclip. Really brutal. This issue is him going basically into him going into a bunker, and him and him also, you know, saving some mutants and attacking this place that's basically gathering up mutants for experiments and that sort of thing. They're almost like in a religious cult of sorts that he you know, attacks and slaughters, and then it is back to him back in this bunker extracting some information and to see where he needs to go next, to see who he needs to strike at next, where his next thing is going to be. Really enjoying this book. It seems to be coming out fairly often right now. I'm not 100% sure if it's double shipping all the time or just some of the time. I would hope that we get a consistent artist on the book at some point for most of the issues. That would be nice. But I am liking this more humbled Magneto. You know, he's part of a struggle, and I like that struggle. It's interesting. You know, not necessarily a good guy. I mean, he's definitely walking, you know, over the line of what would be a superhero in his approach to dealing with stuff. You know, I guess some people might describe him as being the Punisher with superpowers, and I don't know that that's the case. But he's somewhere around there. He's definitely somewhere around there. So, interesting book. And finally, for this time, is Wonder Woman issue 31. And I never can say enough great things about Wonder Woman. An incredible book. The way the mythos is being used, the greater politics that are involved in the book, along with the personal stuff that's in it, is just an incredible book. And this issue is much like all of that. You get these personal dealings with it. She's literally changing the fabric of the old way that the Amazons have done stuff on Paradise Island, and the struggle that some of the Amazons are having with the choices that she's making. Plus, we also discover that really, really bad stuff has happened down in Hades, down in the underworld, and Hades may not be around anymore. It seems we get a wonderful, wonderful scene of just how big of a badass the firstborn is, as his sister, and I can never remember her name. She was helping the firstborn for a while. She has the mechanical throat and whatnot. She is feeding as fast as she can the Hades' throne, which Hades' throne is Kronos, the father of the Titans, the father of the Olympians, as fast as she can, and he's just screaming, more and more food. I'm hungry, because of course he's this chair or this mouth, but he's got an open, his abdomen is open, so the food just falls at her feet as she's just continuously shoveling and pushing it in, shoveling and pushing it in, and that seems to be where she's stuck at. Wonderful Greek mythology type stuff, this turmoil, all these little fine-tuned touches that are in the book. Just incredible. Figure we've got like 5 issues left, I think, of the creators in this run of the book. Who knows what happens? I know we keep talking about that, but it's hard not to. But man, this is awesome, and when it's all done, it's going to be awesome. I know when it's all done, I will be going back to the very beginning and reading it from issue 1, and I suggest everybody else does too, whether that in trade form or in singles. Just a brilliant, beautiful book. And that is it for this time of Monster Comic Reviews. Thanks for hanging in and listening to me talk. I feel a bit rusty. It's been a while since I've done these. Hope to get back into the swing of it, and maybe I'll be more engaging as time goes along. We'll see. At any rate, have a great one, everybody. Catch you next time.